To talk to you guys today a little bit about Back to the Future. The 3 movies that, for me, changed my life as a kid.
Absolutely. No question.
I love Doc Brown, Marty McFly, the
George
Time Machine,
McFly.
George McFly. I mean, it was... Hello!
Hello, McFly!
Hello, McFly! I mean, what great... I mean, just you can say that to anybody who's seen that movie, and they know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a staple of time travel movies.
Hey, you. Why do you keep following me around?
Hey, you. Get your damn hands off of her. Do you think I should swear?
Yes. Damn it, George swear. Lou, give me a milk. Chocolate.
So, what was your favorite part of the Back to the Future movies?
My favorite part would probably have to do with George. Actually, it's when he's back at home and they're all at the table eating, and he's watching. They're all watching the Honeymooners, I think. Yeah, and that would probably have to be my favorite, because it's very reminiscent of the scene at the beginning of the movie where Marty's actually at home with his family, and I can't remember exactly what they're watching on TV, but his dad, he keeps looking over, that they'll be talking, and they'll be like, hey Dad, or hey George, and he's just totally transfixed on the TV, and the only time that he breaks his concentration from the TV is when he turns around to go. George was definitely the funniest character to me in that movie.
He was, man. He was great.
Crispin Glover's awesome.
Yep. And I think it's really funny that in part 2, the person who's playing the Crispin Glover character is not Crispin Glover.
Yeah. Who is it? Actually?
I actually don't know, but off the top of my head, but he just had a lot of makeup done.
And he was hanging upside
down so that it would further conceal the fact that he wasn't actually Crispin
Glover.
And
they blamed it on back problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
They also, without his consent, used the footage from the first Back to the Future in part 2 of Crispin Glover at the dance when he's doing that footage was used against his consent. He did not want that footage used, but they used it anyway. So.
Oh my God, I never knew that. I actually never knew that. And I did always wonder why he never participated in the second film.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I wish he'd have been in it, because, like I said, he was one of the key characters to me.
I guess he figured, part one really was. If you look at the whole trilogy, part 1 really is the classic.
Oh,
part
sure.
Part 1 has all the elements that whether you like part 2 or 3, everybody likes part 1.
Well,
part 1,
exactly. And I can totally see where you're coming from with that, because for me, I remember as they came out, of course, the first one was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And I think anybody in our generation especially would agree with that. You can't deny that. But as they came out, I liked them all. But I liked them all in that order, too. Like, I like the first one. My second favorite one is the second one. My third favorite, you know what I mean? And they're all good, and they're all good in their own way, but, yeah.
So something else that was very unique about part 2, I don't think ever before had I seen a movie where I saw the trailer for the next movie at the end of the second movie. You know? It was really weird to be like, are they showing me the trailer right
Exactly. Now? And it was also cool because, we love those movies so much. It was always cool at the end of each journey to know you were going to get another one.
Yep.
Except for, part 3.
Part 3, of course.
But
part 1, I don't think when they did part 1, even though they put to be continued, I don't think they knew at that point whether they were going to get to do another
Exactly,
movie,
because at that point, they weren't even sure. I mean, when they put it out, it could have bombed.
Yep.
Who knew? But, yeah, I mean, it's just, at that time, that idea, not the idea of time travel, of course, but just the idea of the way they did it, with the DeLorean and with Doc and Marty being, I mean, come on, look today in popular culture, look at Rick and Morty.
Yep.
Tell me that there is no direct a takeaway from Back to the Future in that show.
Oh, there absolutely
exactly.
As a matter of fact, I think the person who has actually created Rick and Morty had some connection to the Back to the Future
to the production
and the production of it, and he took and they are direct parodies of those characters,
right?
And he took them and he made them like the darkest, most sinister versions of those characters. He corrupted them as far as he possibly could.
Well, I mean, look at Rick. The doctor. He's got the white lab coat. He's got the white hair. Exactly. And then you have Morty, who in the Back to the Future movies, when Marty was overwhelmed or he freaked out a bit, he kind of had that panic in his voice.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much who Marty is all the time.
Exactly.
It's like I'm sorry, not Morty. Yeah, he's pretty much that all the time. He's that weirded out, over the top Marty McFly, so it's like, at the time when they put that movie out, I don't think they realized what a monster they had created,
I don't think they had either.
And thank God for it, because to this day, I'm twice as old as I was when those movies came out, and I love them, if not more than I did then.
The special effects included, they have stood the test of time.
Sure.
And they are movies, although we have passed that mark in the future when they went into 2015.
Right.
That being aside, they do hold up.
Sure.
When you watch them, they feel as real as they were when I saw them when I was a kid.
Sure. They haven't lost relevance. They haven't lost anything, really. And, that's why I was really, really glad to hear that whenever it was brought up about them doing a remake of the franchise, there's been plenty of remakes. I'm sure you would agree that we all wish would have never happened,
and some coming that we wish would never have happened.
Oh, yes, but that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother Geraldo.
Exactly, but I really was glad to hear. It said from the director himself, as long as I'm alive and I'm on this earth, there will be no brand new reproduction of Back to the Future. It will not happen. I was so glad to hear that.
Yeah, well, why mess with something that's as perfect as those movies are?
Exactly.
Although they do have some, incoherencies between some of the scenes.
Oh, yeah, a lot of holes you could get into. Right.
But I think my favorite scene of all of them has to be in the first movie, just the classic clock tower scene.
Oh,
where,
yes.
Marty's racing towards the point where
the anticipation of it with Doc trying to get it
all
hooked
back up in the tree branch and finally cooking it up at the last minute. I mean, they just built on that scene so well.
Oh, yes. Edge of your seat. Definitely an edge of your seat scene,
And we learned, if you want your car, if it's not starting to work, just bang your head against the steering wheel.
Exactly. It works every time.
It's the Fonzie method.
Right?
The Fonzie Guide to Home Repair.
And I'll tell you, as far as going into the second movie, one of the things I thought was really great was, once he gets, into, the future Hill Valley,
right,
and he's just walking around, the downtown area there, and he's just taking everything in and seeing what's going on. It's just like, from what people on the street are wearing to what the cars look like,
right,
to, off in the distance you see the freeway in the sky,
right. Don't you have a prop with you?
Yeah,
today
actually, I do. We were lucky enough to acquire this. This is from when Marty walks past the Cineplex, and Jaws 19 in 3D is playing, and you remember, the hologram of Jaws coming down and
down.
Exactly. Well, we have the movie poster from that production of Jaws 19. This time, it's really, really personal. So, yeah.
Well, Back to the Future, we want to say that you've played an immense part in our lives. You've given us great enjoyment watching those movies, and, we here at Dork Side of the Nerd, we salute you.
And we also, we wanted to go ahead and say, we also, in part 3, we did love the character of Mad Dog Biff, that they brought him back into the equation. That was great.
Yeah.
And you actually get to see Marty moonwalk in that one, remember?
Oh,
and he stomps the board, and the tobacco can lands on Biff. You remember that?
Well, the thing about part 2 was they knew that they were making a part 3, unlike with part 1, so they did a lot of setups in part 2 for things that you would see in part 3.
Right.
Like when they are in the library and they're researching stuff, and it says Mad Dog Tan.
Yes.
And, it comes into the... Or they had the casino where it was telling his life story, and it showed about his
and the ancestors,
his ancestors.
And it was Mad Dog 10.
So they really did have the opportunity to set things up.
They really did, and they did it in such a genius way. Such a great trilogy, incredible, and you really could not talk about time travel without mentioning it and saluting it, because it was actually that great. So we salute you, Back to the Future.
You're an American tradition.
You sure are, and you will continue to be, and we hope that you continue to be for generations to come.
Because that's the power of love.
That's right. Got to get back in time.